Lockup, Home Wrecker, and Their Nervous Wrecks. I guess that's the name of the title. So anyway, this is going to be brought to you from an urban Native American perspective, a mixed perspective, and a secular perspective. So let's dive right on in, guys. Okay, so did you see the episode last night? Or actually, no, that was on Friday. What am I talking about? I'm always a little bit late with this particular one. So, all right, so first we're going to start off the episode. Who do we have first? First we have, okay, I gotta get myself organized here. I'm sorry about this. I thought I had this all set up over here. Okay, sorry. The treasures of going live. Okay, so first we have Indy and Harry. Oh my God. So Indy's mom just got back from dropping Harry's butt off on the side of the highway somewhere. He was so salty he had to walk, right? So the mom is, filling Indy on, like, Indy in on what, Harry was saying, kind of making it seem like it was all on her and everything like that. And, she did, the mom did take some, well, I won't say take responsibility, but she did admit that at the end of the day, Indy is basically, a lot of the decisions were on her because she was the one that moved up here and everything like that. But, she's also letting Indy know that Harry was making it seem like, putting it all on her, making her seem like she's like a warden or something, always on his back and stuff. So anyway, as Indy's, soaking in this information from her mom, she's like, okay, it's really hard. What can I do? But finally, she's just like, all right, look, this is not right. And, she doesn't know if she should really, fully leave him, but you could see something click in her head, right? And, finally we see her, next thing she's packing and she decides to call Harry and let him know that, hey, she is going to leave. She's going to go back to Maryland. And, she finally, verbalize her moments of clarity. I thought we were starting to see it like an episode or two before ago, but I think we got to hear it. Like when she said that it's not fair, she didn't even say to me first, she goes, it's not fair to my daughter and it's not fair to me. That's when it seemed like, okay, all right. I think, it's finally hit her completely that she does not need to have her kid out here, dragging this kid cross country, just, halfway cross country for this little knucklehead, right? So she calls Harry up and, he's all upset with her because, her mom popped up on him. But what did he expect? He knows her mom is a bounty hunter. He better be glad that her mom didn't try and like rough him up. I mean, seriously, that could have happened another way, or she could have, maybe had some contacts with the local POs and try and get him messed up, right? So he better be glad all she did was have a little conversation with him. And he decides to, meet up with her. He agrees to meet up with her. And when they met up, they're playing all this sad music. I'm like, get this over with, right? I was with the mom, right? Yolanda, every time Indy was like, but it's hard because I love him. She's like, girl, please, you better pack up your stuff and go. I mean, it probably seems insensitive on Indy's part, but she's right. You totally should never have been in that situation to begin with. So, she lets Harry know that, hey, look, you did me wrong. I'm out of here, and, she gave him a hug, a final hug, and that was it. And it was, like I could, we don't usually get to breathe this much on this show, but we finally got to see someone who we know is in a totally screwed up situation. Get out of it and get out of it before they get beat up, before they themselves wind up in jail, or before they wind up having a baby, right? So, and hopefully Nicole, I mean, she's a little girl, so, who knows, maybe she won't remember most of this. So, I mean, hopefully it won't be too much, I guess residual damages. I guess that will come out, later on with in regards to the situation. So, I mean, I hope this was a good lesson for Indy. I mean, she's a sweet girl, but god damn, she just didn't use her she didn't use her mind, like I don't know if you guys, like some of you guys are older, remember that commercial, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And it's so true, right? So, I mean, hopefully next time she'll do something better. But it said in the thing, like at the end, that she's still going to her psychic. So hopefully that psychic will give her some better advice rather than just taking her money. So anyway, okay. So who do we have next? So after Indy and Harry, we have Chance and Taylor. So Chance, he decides he wants to propose. He gets the little girls in on it. They go out and, for this little carriage ride, and he keeps Taylor busy with something else while he has little girls hold signs that he made up with glitter and glue and all this stuff. And, before they get to that, like they're like physically in the carriage, and the little girl's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And then the little girl, she takes the drink and she burns her mouth. And I'm like, oh my God, Taylor, you do not listen. Some people, he didn't do it on purpose, I understand, but some people don't have enough experience with children. And you as a parent have to always be, and it can be exhausting, but you always have to be there and doing everything to make sure that things like that don't happen. I mean, hello, I just didn't understand that. But anyway, little baby burned her mouth. And so then, he has them hold up the signs, and they, she comes off of the carriage, she sees it, and, she plays around like she's not going to accept, but of course she accepts. And she's like, oh, this is such a great engagement, and da-da-da-da. So, I mean, I don't know if they're riding off into the sunset. We'll see how this plays out, because once he gets married to her, if he does, then this is going to be interesting, because Bobby is definitely going to wind up in the garage, or maybe off the property altogether, because she'll be like, oh, but that's my husband, he's a part of the decision making or whatever. It'll be like, oh, we're a package deal. That might go out of the window after she accepts this man's proposal. So now we have Rick and Radine. So Radine, we see her at her mom's place, right? And she's telling her mom basically, listen, I broke up with Rick, it just wasn't going to work out. And the mom is really disappointed, even though there's a 20-year age gap. She's 29, he's 49. Like, even with that age gap, the mom is like really worried, because she thinks that, okay, she's going to relapse, and being around this guy is going to keep her, clean and sober. And I mean, a guy can't do that. That's got to be up to you. But I understand what she's saying, that she feels is that he is not a bad influence on her, maybe because of his age. So anyway, then she tells her mom, she drops the whole I'm married to K-bomb. So this really got the mom upset. And she's crying, and she's like, oh my God, you didn't tell me about this. I didn't get to be a part of this. Like, this is like devastating. And then not only that, your daughter's going to be out there waiting for someone that, what did it say? The earliest she can get out is, was it 2024 up until like 2036, something like that. Like, there's a nice window of time. She may not just automatically get released within the next couple of years. So, I mean, I don't know. So then she decides to go see Rick and tell him in person, because her mom was like, does he know about this? You got to be honest and stuff. So she goes to see Rick, and she basically reveals the news that she's married. And he's like, what? Like, he's all shocked and stuff. And he's like, no wonder, and it's like, now he's just feeling like he got totally straight played, and, he still wants to be friends with her or whatever. But she's sitting here going like, yeah, that's what he thinks, that we're going to be broken up. He's still going to be here for me, basically bankrolling whatever she wants to do. But it said at the very end, at the little updates and stuff, that they haven't spoken. So I guess like Rick finally put his foot down, and he's got that roommate in his ear too, honey. So she was telling him like, listen, things don't work out, because they were looking a little close during that little karaoke session. But you know what? Listen, when those two were singing, boy, it sounded like two hounds like howling at the moon. It was just so bad. I was like, oh my God. But I understand. It's not about having a great voice. It's about the expression and having fun. But God damn, they sound terrible. They sound like terrible in unison. But anyway, so that's them. Okay, so who else do we have? Tiffany and Kevin. So Kevin calls Tiffany, and he wants to meet up with her. And, she's like a little bit hesitant, but she decides to go ahead and meet up with him, right? And she's got on her little Fashion Nova dress, right? So she's there to slay. And they sit down and talk, and he says to her, listen, I've actually never been able to be faithful. I've always had trouble with having too many women. Maybe I have a sex addiction, whatever, whatever. And she was like, oh, well, that's the case. Then we can get it popping. Like, we can bring in somebody else and, there won't be any problem. And I'm like, why do people always think that that is a solution? Like, I don't get that. Like, that didn't make any sense to me. Like, but maybe because she felt that she could just have the best of both worlds without it being officially cheating, right? I guess. But I mean, this is not gonna end up at the altar or anything like that. So then, once they get into it and he sees how excited she is about it, do you notice how he started to go, well, yeah, because at first he was like all down for like, oh, okay. When she proposed the idea of bringing someone else into their relationship, at first he was like, oh, okay, well, like he's probably surprised like that she would even suggest that. But, he seemed to be kind of into the idea, but then she was really excited about it. So then he was like, yeah, okay, well, I mean, we don't have to do it right away, or it doesn't have to necessarily be something too serious. I think he really does want to be with her. Now, is he going to let go that other one? Now, I thought we were going to get an update on that blonde girl. Thank God there was no kind of like fighting or anything between those two, but it seems like that blonde girl is not going anywhere because it seems like the woman that he dates kind of knows that he dates around, he's community property, as they say, and, and just kind of put up with it for whatever reason. I have no idea. It's to me like, I feel like if he really wanted to make it work with Tiffany, he could, but I don't think he's going to be willing to do it. And I think that she's still trying to get stuff out of her system. She just got out of prison, right? So it's not a good idea for her to be all anchored down with somebody like that as soon as she gets out anyway. So anyway, okay, now going to Kayla and Martel. So they're getting ready for a party because he's going to be on home confinement for the next 2 months, I believe it is. So all his family members are coming over. And now listen, Martel's family rides hard for him, okay? Like he is a beloved figure in his family. So everybody's there, including the cousin, who's the cousin's name? Tile, who is a friend of Kayla's, who initially introduced the two. And I was a little surprised when we saw Tile because, first of all, I didn't know that Tile was trans. And then secondly, when I realized that Tile was trans, I was like, wait a minute, like, aren't you more sensitive to like, men treating women kindly and things like that, and, especially you identifying as male and stuff like that? Don't you feel like women should be treated well? Like, why would you suggest for someone that you consider to be a friend to get with your cousin who is a dog? Like, I was kind of, well, listen, I'm not saying just because a person is trans automatically makes them some kind of angel and doesn't mean that they can't have things up their sleeve too, or bad intentions or make bad decisions or something. But, it's just like his family is so down for him no matter what he does or how he acts towards women. They are just like, oh, but he's our cousin. He's our cousin. So, I don't know. I was just like a little bit surprised by that. I was like, I felt like Tile would be more sensitive and have her friend more at heart than she would her cousin. Like, let him meet somebody on the prison website. Don't introduce your friend to your cousin who is not. Anyway. So, yeah, so they had their party, and then, one of the cousins gives her advice about like not always going off and stuff like that. So probably, I don't know, maybe Martel was complaining to the cousin about how like Kayla really goes off. Now, Kayla, I just feel like if you got to go off on somebody to that level and so often, then they're just not worth it. But listen, she is the queen of the ride or dies. Okay. Let me tell you something. She's like, the hell with my career, the hell with my, having a good life. I'm just going to sit here stuck and strapped down to somebody who has a record, who's never going to be able to give me the kind of life that I know that I deserve to have. I mean, some people are just down for that, and like I said, it's different when you meet someone in prison versus someone who you've been with and they wind up going to prison and you're like, oh my God, then you have to decide what you're going to do. But I mean, it still doesn't make sense to me if someone, has a partner who's in prison to wait for them forever. That's just not, come on, you still have a life to live, right? But it's just, she's just decided that, and she's ready to be a baby mama. She's ready to struggle. She's ready to argue every day. She's ready to be cheated on. She's just ready for all of that. And there's just not much you can say to somebody who makes decisions like that. I mean, if I had a friend who was like, yeah, girl, that no, that wouldn't work out. That friend, yeah. Anyway, so moving on. So then we get to, okay, is this our last one? Chadwin and Chaz and Branwin. Oh my God. Okay. So, all right, she has to go get her stuff, and he's driving her, and they're in the car together. And next thing he's trying to lean over and kiss her. Now, I noticed that she's always kissing him, but I think it's more of a like, I'm just giving you something to satisfy you because, she knows how to like, work the fellas, right? I mean, she used to dance, so she knows how to use her wiles and stuff like that. So I think she does that to kind of like to satiate him so he doesn't so he's just good for the moment and not kind of coming in for more. So it's like, I'll kiss you before you can kiss me kind of thing. And so, and they're pecks. They're not like, open mouth. So when he's trying to come at her and kiss her, she's just like, no, like kind of get off me, right? And then she goes, well, I've never been really affectionate. So it's like, yeah, here we go. Here we go, right? Listen, girl, this is your little hustle. I understand you're trying to turn into like a little Susie homemaker type situation, and you're really trying to just like grit your teeth and bear it. But I don't know if she's going to be able to do it with him and that old horseshoe, hair transplant scar. Oh my God, it's so bad. Like, if it's that bad, at least let the other hair grow on top of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so anyway, yeah, so they're driving. So they go to her friend Courtney's place, and Courtney is her guy friend. And it's so funny. It's like he's got his outfit on. He looks all thugged out. But when you zero in on his face, if he doesn't look like, Chip from, human resources. I mean, it looked like they put those clothes on him. Like they just grabbed him from production and they made him as a prop because the real Courtney couldn't show up or something. It was just so funny. Like he just looked so nerdy. He looked like the clothes didn't even like he didn't actually own those clothes. So anyway, here comes Chaz with his insecure self. Okay, nice to meet you. But is there anything I need to know about? Anything going on with you guys? Just gotta double check. Okay. Can you just like kind of fall back on the calls or something like, he's just so insecure. And I think, it's because of her looks, because she's a nice looking woman, right? And in his mind, he feels like he doesn't deserve her. That's what that is, because she hasn't given him any reason, I don't think. Well, actually, she is talking to that ex. I mean, but he doesn't know that. He doesn't know that. But, from what she's presented, I don't think, she's acted in any way to give him any reason to not trust her. But I think what's going on here is that because he knows her line of, the line of work that she used to be in, he knows about her addiction and stuff like that. But not only that, I think because her circle of friends is not mainly, but she has a lot of guys around her. So he's, like Mr. Military, coming from this kind of straight-laced sort of lifestyle, he's thinking, oh, they're probably always trying to hit on her and blah, blah, blah. Probably to him, like, she is the absolute most gorgeous creature on the planet and assumes that everyone else feels the same way. And that insecurity is going to be very afflicted because her very best her to stay there. She doesn't want to go to Kentucky, right? So, she does have to stay there in Oregon until her, like, I guess, probation period or whatever it is over, and then she'll move out to Kentucky. So now she's like, okay, I guess I'm just going to have to give him some, So they go to the hotel, right? And honey, let me tell you something. If they were handing out Oscars that night, the Oscar would have gone to Branwin, okay? Because she put on the only performance, and it was, okay, I shouldn't say performance. She had a anxiety attack. She was up there. She was like, I don't think that like I can like, yeah, because usually like I'm like high and I can't like do it sober. Listen. Now, I'm not saying that there was no truth in that, and I do believe that in her recovery that it is different right? Because when you're used to doing things on a substance and now you have to sit there and really be present in the moment and really think about things. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, there's no club lights to make you look a little, to kind of, like beer goggles, right? She has to see him in clear focus and be like, oh my God, this man is totally not anything that I would ever look at on any day of the week. She just can't bring herself to do it. And she's trying to stay sober. So she was like, you know what, I just can't. And then she just goes into this whole thing. And then she's like, I just can't. Okay, like just like give me a hug and I'll feel better if I just go back home. I just want to rest, right? I was like, oh my God. Oh, what a performance. So listen, girls like her who have their, who always had good looks, and even as you're, approaching, well, she's early 40s, so she's not quite middle age, but she looks, if she stays off of drugs and stuff like that, she can carry that into her 50s. Her genes are not bad, okay? They really aren't. So, women like her who've had a lifetime of kind of being able to rely on their looks, they know how to play it, right? She played him. And he's like, oh, don't worry. There's no rush, honey. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not. And he's lying because he's so insecure. He wanted so bad to get a little nookie before he went back to Kentucky. But anyway, they were all done with that. So now I guess he's on his way back to Kentucky, and we'll see whatever update there is. I don't remember seeing any update at the end of the episode that stood out to me. Do you guys remember anything what happened to them? If you do, put it in the comment section or in the chat if you're on here live. Okay, so the last couple we got to get to. Oh my God, Lacey and Antoine. If this was not a shite show, okay? So they go over to his mom's house and they're having like a little bit of a dinner party-ish, I guess, whatever. And he gets a phone call and decides he has to take a smoke. So he steps outside. So that's when the mom, Christy, swoops over and she's like, he's been texting over 50 women every day. 50 women every day. I said, who in the world has time to be doing that? And if he is on your family plan, do you not have access to those text messages? You can easily confirm that, right? So next thing you know, she's sitting there, Lacey's taking in the information like, he's doing what? And then I'm thinking to myself, like, is she really gonna believe this, or is she just gonna think that the mom's trying to break them up? And I can understand from her standpoint, like questioning the mom, because I mean, listen, the mother is an out of her mind alcoholic. I mean, but I don't think she was lying though. And remember, she was like, my son's a savage and he treats women terribly and stuff like that. Now, I don't think he's like an aggressive, like a woman hitter or anything like that. I don't think he's like that, but like playing around. Oh, well, we already saw that off camera, and we all know Lacey doesn't know what he's been doing. But honey, when they get home and she confronts, I don't know if she was home or they were in the car, but later on she confronts him about that. And then he's like, oh, my mom's supposed to be on my side. But notice he didn't fully, completely deny it though either, right? Because he knows what he's doing. So then when the episode closes and then we see the update that this woman is now expecting a baby. I said, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, I cannot believe this. After that information, she knows that mother is not lying. She knows that. And I'm sure she could tell just based off of his reaction that she knows that the mom's not lying. For you to go and have a baby, listen, this is so mind-blowing. Lacey, out of all of these couples, listen, I don't understand a Kayla being with a Martel. I don't get it, but some people, they're just built like that, right? Lacey, I mean, she was a case study just because she had the suburban lifestyle and was like, living a good life, but maybe I guess like unhappy in the marriage department, who totally decides to go pluck a prisoner like fresh out of prison and is now going to have a child. And I was like, but because I was trying to remember her age, and I was thinking to myself, that could be a complicated pregnancy. Could be. Not saying it definitely will be, but it could be a complicated pregnancy. But I mean, just like at least even with the stress of dealing with him all the time, is he showing you love? I mean, she was sitting there saying, like, I need to know what how you show love. What is love for you? The boy was not raised in a proper environment. Okay. I mean, his mother was a drunk. And I mean, my father was an absolute and complete out of his mind alcoholic. I mean, a raging alcoholic. And he was not fit to be a parent that was in the home present all the time, which is why I didn't live with him, right? I mean, some people should not be raising kids. I mean, that's what the adoption system is for. Or maybe the grandma should have raised it. I don't know, but like, he didn't. You see what kind of childhood, what kind of foundation he comes from. And see, that's the thing. Lacey is intelligent. Now, I'm not saying Kayla is not intelligent, but I don't know. Kayla's another one I just don't understand either. But it just doesn't make sense to me that she's already gotten to that stage in her life. Kayla's still kind of young and dumb, right? Lacey is at a stage where she totally should know better, but hey, knowing better does not always equate to doing better. So whatever. I mean, they have a baby. I hope she has a safe pregnant or a safe delivery. I don't know if she's had her baby yet by now. But that's going to be a tough road. I mean, being with someone like that. Are they going to get married? I mean, it doesn't seem like he's really ready for marriage. I mean, I don't understand this. This show really just makes you, sometimes I don't understand things in the world. I really don't. But anyway, so I guess that it was the final for our Love and Lockup, or Love After Lockup. So we'll see what they're going to give us next. Maybe some little spin-off, before the lockup, or, who knows, whatever. But I will be here for all the nonsense and all the shenanigans. So thank you guys for hanging in with me during the season. It's been great. Please leave some comments below. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Yeah, I want to hear you guys' opinions, your predictions. Tell me what you think about this whole baby situation with Lacey and Antoine. I'm just very curious. What about his mom? I mean, is she going to be able to make it? I mean, is she going to be sober enough to even get that transplant? I mean, I have no idea. So that's it, guys. We'll meet back here. I should have looked on the DVR to see when the next season is coming in, but I totally, listen, I was so tired when I was watching that. So anyway, whenever it is, I'll be back here. So just check me out. You can go onto my channel page and see other videos that I've done for other shows as well. I do the courtship. I do 90 Day Fiance. I also do like a Native American blog. So that's it. All right, guys, stay safe. Take care, and Chepisalacho.